Hey guys, Akisha Lockhart here for She's Got a Show, and I am so excited to be continuing this series. I am pulling up on some of the dopest people in Chicago just to simply do a wellness check. 2020 has been such a crazy year for us all, and what better way to spread love and let people know that I see you, I appreciate you, than pulling up on them. So our next guest is going to hop in Coco with us. She's an executive producer and now the third voice on the Ed Lover Show. Without further ado, Krista should be coming out any second. We pulled up on her. Where is she? Well, while we wait for Krista to pop up, because I don't see her yet, make sure you subscribe, you like, you hit the notification bell, and you comment below, because more dopeness is on the way between our... Hey, there she is. There she is. Between the content, between Krista. Krista! Right here, over here. So between the interviews and the content, you don't want to miss it. Make sure you subscribe. Hey girl,
what up,
though?
Hi,
how are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. How are you?
I love it. I'm great. The door's still open?
Okay,
open and close it again,
yeah,
and you're all good. Hey,
nice.
We're
Thank
good.
you for having me.
No problem. So Krista, I explained to them what this series is about, but I wanted to kind of less was better for me to tell you, because I wanted to tell you in person, right? Okay. So you were so dope.
No,
you are super dope. And this whole series that I am doing pull-up wellness checks on dope people in Chicago.
That's real. Oh my God. First off, energy matches energy. You're dope.
Thank you.
Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. It's fine. But I just had to pull up on you and tell you from my mouth to your ears that you are such a special force and being. And I want you all to know she's so special. All my guests are. I Lysol. And can you show them the hand sanitizer they were about to put on?
This is good stuff too. This isn't that bad smelling hand sanitizer.
Let's put some on before we really get started.
Thank you, Darla.
No problem. And we have on our masks, as you all can see, because we are playing no games. So, Krista.
Yes, ma'am.
You are... I don't know if you're the only, but you're an executive producer and now the third voice for the Ed Lover Show.
Yes.
Congratulations to you. You're welcome.
Thank
Please
you so much.
Let us know what those two positions entail exactly.
Okay. Well, I have actually been Ed's EP since 2016. So I've never been a voice officially. I've always been strictly behind the scenes as far as production is concerned, like building the show, running the board, pushing buttons, hitting commercials, brainstorming and generating ideas. And it was different transitioning from being syndicated to going local, which was strictly from Chicago. But once I moved here and I had the opportunity to produce radio in Chicago, mind you, it's my favorite city everywhere. Like, I'm gonna have my kids here, I'm gonna settle down here. I love Chicago. But I was asked to be a third voice on the show because I just couldn't help but laugh and giggle and chime in at the conversations that Ed was having with the people of Chicago. Like, they would call in and either completely disagree with him or agree with him and talk music and talk history and all this, that, and the other. But once Ed was like, look, like, we could take this to another level as far as like you being single and 33, kind of in that upper millennial area, and his co-host Jen BT, married, 2 kids. Those are 2 completely different dynamics. So there's a total difference between being a producer and being on air, because there's stressors on both sides. On one side, you have to make sure that you don't sound boring and cause tune out. On the other side, you have to make sure that everyone is good in the room to produce a good morning show. So kind of merging the two and being able to balance the two. I think I've been working with Ed long enough to know that I can finesse in there and figure out how to generate conversation, and at the same time make sure we hit those commercial spots on time,
which is very important. They're paying the bills.
Yes, ma'am.
So something that's very unique about your position, and I talked about this with another one of my guests for this series, you are a Black woman who has to be like in this position of EPing. Now you're the voice of, but you're a human too. So you're dealing with, just, we were talking before we start rolling, there's another report of a black man being murdered. So you have to deal with this as a black person, the social injustice. You're dealing with COVID in whatever way you're dealing with it, and then you're dealing with your personal life. So as a part of this wellness check-in, Krista, mentally, mental health is important. How are you doing? Be transparent with us.
Okay, I would love to. Thank you for asking. If
welcome.
It was anybody else, I'm not gonna lie, I would. Can I curse?
Yes.
I would bullshit and say I'm wonderful. You know, it's 2020 and I know they try to knock us down when we get back up, and all that's fine and dandy, but like genuinely, this has been one of the most challenging years I have ever been through in 33 years of me being on this earth. I have my father, he's a diabetic. So if I'm not stressed out about work or finances, I am concerned about my father's health. And he's a factory worker. He's a blue collar man. I'm from Kentucky, and he goes into work still every single day. Okay. So I do have this kind of constant stressor in the back of my mind, concern like, all right, my dad, I don't want him to get, exposed to COVID simply because he does have a pre-existing health condition. So that's something that just rests at the back of my mind. Like, is he taking his vitamins? Is he drinking enough water? Is he wearing a mask, washing his hands, like not kicking it? And is my mom okay? Is she being cautious as well? So that's definitely something that I do kind of keep in the back of my mind that does like try to come to the front of my mind and stress me out. But the best part about this year is the challenge. I know I said it's like a double-edged sword. The hardest part is the challenge, but the best part is the challenge because it's testing my faith in God. I'm a super strong Christian and I pray every day. I may wild out and do my thing, but I am very faith-based, and it's really testing me as far as walking by faith and not by sight. So it has been a very challenging year as far as health is concerned and weight management. Everybody's kind of did their little whole quarantine 15 thing. Now I'm in the process of losing it and being able to save money. And I actually have still been going into work every single day.
Okay.
Like, most of my friends and family have been able to work from home, but I've been going to the studio like it was not a pandemic. And that's kind of mentally challenging too, because you go from a building that has thousands of people in it a day to maybe 15 a day. It really like challenges you as a producer. Like, all right, we are going through this. I could be risking my life, but it's not about me. It's bigger than me. It's the people. Like, I love serving people. I love reaching the masses. And with the radio show, it's an opportunity for people to check out from what's going on in the world and just listen to some nostalgic music to take you back to high school or some shit like that, So I am okay. But I do have my moments, and I'm grateful for therapy and virtual therapy. I'm grateful for, again, being so faith-based. I'm grateful that my parents are healthy, and that's all I can ask for. As long as my friends are happy and healthy and I'm consistent in prayer and my check is still coming in, you know what I mean? I'm blessed, so I'm good. But thank you. Like, how are you?
Of course. No,
you invited me.
Well, I appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
I too am going through my ups and downs, but I continually find myself saying the same thing, and I hope to God that I die saying the same thing. God is good.
Amen.
God is in control.
That's right. We are not in control.
I can't do nothing without him.
Child.
And he is protecting me. And like what you said,
yes, girl,
this year has really helped me to just really every morning I'm like, okay, whenever I find myself, because I can wake up and find myself starting to get negative about something.
Yeah, you got to protect your peace.
And then I say, you know what, Akisha, what do? You're going to list everything in your mind you're grateful for.
Yes.
Your parents are alive.
Listen.
Your siblings are alive. You woke up this morning because God isn't done with you.
Glory.
You can see. You can hear.
You can walk. You can breathe.
Exactly.
Girl,
so I just kind of go through that checklist. So I appreciate you asking me too.
Of course.
And I sincerely do. And I'm glad that you didn't mind being transparent, because again, that is what this series is about. So Krista, I want to know, for anyone out there that's watching this interview right now, watching this conversation, and they aspire to get in radio, because you've seen both sides. Like, you saw what it was like prior to 2020, and now 2020 is a whole, it's revealing a lot about career fields, professions, and things. Would you advise anyone out there to still get in radio after seeing the transformation you've seen?
Yeah. My genuine answer is yes. I don't mean to get like political, but literally there's so much trust in the radio compared to the hundreds and hundreds of online media sources. There's some value to terrestrial radio that provides legitimacy. No matter if you're revealing a new article, like some tea or some gossip that's local or national. Anytime I hear, for example, Roland Martin or Reverend Al Sharpton or any person that is in the press, like CNN or Fox News, they always say or reference terrestrial radio. Like, how is this person going to encourage the black vote? I'm going to go to interview on Ricky Smiley or Steve Harvey or Ed Lover. Like, there's substance and a level of trust that comes from listening to the person that you listen to on the radio every single day. They're not just pulling it out their ass. On the other side of that, radio obviously is shifting into different dynamics. Right now we're being taught that podcasting is a very beneficial way to kind of sustain your radio career and radio life. And I truly feel that anybody that wants to reach people, that wants to impact people, that wants to help people and like talk to them and make them feel good, like what I usually like to do on the radio is help them feel good, is brand yourself. Like, everyone has their own pretty much channel now through the internet, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But when you brand yourself and you transition your brand to the radio, that opens up doors and platforms that not just the internet can provide. Because not only are you reaching a new demographic, you're reaching an older demographic as well, because you still have OGs that listen to the radio every single day. So I know the youth and Gen X and kind of the younger generation are propelling us forward and they are the future. However, there's some type of value and substance that comes with pursuing a career in radio, especially now. Because if you can make it in radio now in 2020, you're in there. Like, you're going to be there for a while. I wouldn't have said this last year because it wasn't a pandemic. But if you can tough it out and people are navigating to find you on a radio dial or navigating to find you on an app or like radio.com, iHeart, whatever, that says something about you as a person. You're able to impact the people. So I highly suggest people try it out. And radio's still hiring. They're looking for talent, phone screeners just to talk to the people, board operators to really get your hands on there and finesse the music and DJ the music and do countdowns for the talent. There's so much value in those studio spaces, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
I don't know if that was worded, but
no, I think that was perfect. I think you hit it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I want to know, tell us a really good Ed Lover story.
Ooh,
just one.
So
I know. I can believe it, but give us one good one. Not too long, because I got some stuff I need to do with you.
I got you.
But give us a good Ed Lover story.
That is just him from like back in the day or present stories.
I want the best thing you got. Krista, you figure that out. I want the best that you got.
Okay. This is so bad. Well, my absolute favorite Ed Lover story of all time is, of course, Ed and I used to broadcast in Atlanta. And we were there for 2 years before we came to Chicago. So it'll be 3 years in Chicago next February. And in Atlanta, it's just notorious for strip clubs, right? So there's Magic City, there's Follies, there's the Blue Flame and Onyx and et cetera, et cetera. And Ed started noticing that I was going to the strip clubs and not inviting him. I'm like, Ed, like, because you're like my uncle, you're like my family, so I'm going with the homegirls. And he's like, well, y'all kids nowadays don't know shit about a real strip club experience. Let me tell you, this man told me a story about him and Tupac going to Magic City.
Oh my goodness.
Back like the Jack the Rapper days, there was like this festival. It was like the precursor of like A3C Music Festival.
Okay.
Like the OG shit, right?
Okay.
Naughty by Nature, Tupac, fucking Uncle Luke and them down in Miami.
Wow.
They would all flood Atlanta for this Jack the Rapper, and Mr. Magic, who I guess owns Magic City, invited Tupac and Ed Lover and their crew to the strip club to kind of have this experience. Ed's from New York, Pac is out on the West Coast, so Atlanta's like a new hub for them. And Ed, I don't know, long story short, they had too much fun to where both Ed Lover and Tupac specifically, like Jazzy Jeff style, got thrown out.
Are you serious?
City. Yes, Ed will tell you this story.
That is hilarious.
Some of my details might be wrong, but Ed is
hilarious.
His memory is crazy. So that's why I have so many stories from him. But my favorite one is knowing that him and Tupac got kicked out of Magic City. The Magic City.
That is hilarious.
That's probably my favorite story.
I love that story. And I'm not going to get into the full blown of mine because this is not about me. But I remember one of the most, when I met Ed, we were at a movie screening. And so we were at the movie screening, advanced movie screening, and we were at the concession stand, and we started talking there. He was so nice. My first time interacting with him.
Yeah.
So we ended up, I think, walking in. I was there by myself. He was so nice. We walked into the theater together, and we sat near each other. And because of his vibe, he was like welcoming. I know who Ed Lover is. Like I know who he, like the thing that pops in my head is him interviewing Tupac. Like that's what I think of. Yeah. And so I ended up asking him, and I just felt like a little kid in a candy store, like, what is this? Can you tell me about Tupac? Yeah. And he's like telling me, and I'm like, this is the closest I may ever get to Tupac is him in like this story. Literally. So for you to bring up like Ed Lover, the Tupac story, I'm like, that is what it's just so cool to have a legend like Ed and have him in the city, and for you to share that story with us. Like that's dope. I love
that you said that.
That is super dope.
It's almost like the way God works and life comes in full circle, because being a little kid in Kentucky, we get our music from Chicago. Like Chicago's like the biggest city close to Lexington besides like Indianapolis and Nashville, right? But I just remember being a little girl and having all these Tupac posters on my wall. I had black lights, whatever. And I would always just think to myself, how, like, I wasn't sensationalizing, but I was more so just wondering what would it be like to be in these creative spaces with these artists in the 90s. And I like religiously thought about that and wrote it in my journal for years and years. And fast forward to 2020, I'm in the studio still with my uncle Ed Lover, and I'm hearing these stories. They're never enough, because it feels like this is what I asked for. This is what I manifested for myself as a kid, let alone in the city that I love. Like not LA, not Atlanta, not New York, but right here in Chicago. So I appreciate you sharing that with me.
I appreciate you sharing that, because that's another, we got to talk more about this once we get done. We need to have our own, like, without the cameras rolling.
Whatever you want.
So what I want to say to you all is, Krista and I, we are far from done. I have a fun game that I'm going to play with her, but you all can only see it exclusively on my Instagram page. So we're going to stop this interview right now. Okay. So that you all can follow us over there. But make sure you subscribe, you like, you hit that notification bell, and you comment below, because I have more incredible people that are going to be hopping in Coco with me, like Krista. And I don't want you all to miss the great content. So for She's Got a Show, you know who I am. I'm Akisha Lockhart. But who are you again?
Krista Hayes. Hey. Super producer Krista.
Bye.